All right, we are good to go. Audio levels sound pretty good. So let's go ahead and kick off. And as always, welcome back. My name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets, and it is Thursday. Let's see, April 14th, 2022. Happy Thursday to all. This is going to be both the last Engineering the Market for the week. It's also the last trading day of the week. So keep in mind, markets are closed tomorrow. Um, and we will return both with Engineering the Markets and pre-market prep next Monday. But until then, let's go ahead and look at a couple things from yesterday and also the previous session due to some of the delay that we had on yesterday's show. So yesterday was pretty entertaining for the market. Entertaining is kind of a almost like a sentiment-based word because we did have a bit of a bullish reaction to the S&P. Reminder that the S&P is at the lower bound of its expected move. It's good to see, at least from a bullish perspective, the idea that the S&P is trying to hold some relative lows. We're going to be looking for confirmation today and possibly Monday, and some things to look out for. One, the S&P does have an important relative high around the CPI reaction. So what is this price level? It's essentially when the CPI data came out and the market essentially topped out before seeing another pretty violent sell swing on Tuesday. So you can mark things like the pre-market high or the absolute high of Tuesday's session. And that is definitely the number to beat. If we're going to sort of reverse trend, for one, we'll have to get over yesterday's high. Yesterday was a trending day to the upside. We'll talk about that a bit more in just a moment. But for additional confirmation, a lot of data drops in this market and the reactions after are often going to be participated in the intraday session where the data is released. So for example, when the CPI data did come out, anyone who participated bearish in the S&P likely put on some positional risk around that time. Maybe they got involved in the morning, maybe they got involved on confirmed hourly trend changes, et cetera, et cetera. And what you're looking for now as a bull is basically to negate those positions. You're trying to break above. And essentially, if those bearish trades are not out of the market as of yesterday or Tuesday's low, then the bull might eventually take over and start to see swing highs above. Now, big picture, where did we stop selling? The idea of we are still in a daily downtrend, but we did stop selling yesterday, and we stopped selling around some of the balance range that was set in late February to early March. We had these price levels marked a bit before, more anticipating where these reactions could occur. And remember, they're not absolute support and resistance, they're just preliminary zones to stay focused in on, and it's where you anticipate reactions to occur. So market is trying to move higher. We saw that yesterday. Yesterday was a trending day as well. Some clues as to whether that can occur. Remember, you're always looking at previous day close as almost a starting point for most markets. And if you monitor approximately where previous day close is on Tuesday, yesterday's session started right at this price level. We had a pre-market sort of return to previous day close, and the market rallied from this point. That's true for the SPY and the NASDAQ, which closed approximately at about 339.50. We pulled into that level, and the market started to trend from that point forward, indicative of our short-term moving averages on the 5, things like the 20 and the 50, holding relative support. So some things to notice as well. NASDAQ was stronger yesterday. Lots of relative strength in certain sectors. We'll look at that on, for example, the trading terminal. We saw consumer discretionaries lead the way. A lot of bullish behavior in those key stocks, the Amazons and the Teslas of the world. But technology was not far behind. There was still good strength in our Microsoft, our Apple. A lot of semiconductor kind of led some of the bullish reaction. This is a pretty beaten down sector overall, but intraday, that performance bolstered the S&P. And you even see energy up, which is, good to kind of see a little divergence of whenever energy is strong, the rest of the market tends to be a bit weaker. Yesterday was more correlated across the board, even though something like utilities is flat. Most sectors either performed in line or definitely had a little bit of a bolstering performance for the S&P, which was up about 1.15%. So shifting really quickly as I am on trading terminal, we're also looking at earnings season. Now, today and yesterday, we did see some of our banking sector start to report. Got a couple of credit market companies coming out as well, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, as of this morning. We'll take a look at those really quickly. But yesterday, we did have JP Morgan, and they did set a bit of a tone for potentially some of these financial stocks this week. For one, they did not see significant losses in any sector or section of their company, but a lot of their higher revenue stream components of their company have actually seen reduction in revenue. Is this indicative of some weakness in the financial sector moving forward? It certainly paints a picture of maybe some lower expectations. And obviously the guidance wasn't necessarily bullish overall. JP Morgan itself, the actual stock, didn't necessarily sell off hard on yesterday's session. Saw a bit more of quite of a challenging day from an intraday trade. And what you'll notice is that the market was relatively balanced overall, kind of centralized around this key price of 127. So can we expect this for other banking stocks today? Potentially. We'll want to look at a couple of them to get an idea of expected move and what can we use as reference points for intraday trade. So one would be Citi. Now, Citi overall is probably one of the more beaten down financial stocks, banking specifically. If you're looking big picture here, just on the monthly, we are in a monthly downtrend. And obviously, if you're looking back historically, this stock is not necessarily the same stock that it used to be, reduced quite heavily during the financial crisis. But short term, this weekly downtrend is hitting the lower bounds of its channel. We're coming into earnings, and this earnings can certainly change sentiment. So we want to give the earnings reaction a bit of a chance to actually be a bit more bullish, especially if the market is anticipating that reaction. So how do we do that? We go to the option market. We look in this case to the Thursday series, which represents a lot of earnings trade. We can also look at the next week's series to see if there's any standout open interest in the option market. For Citi, we closed at about $50. Citi, inside of its earnings series, was expecting about $1.50, just kind of rounding up to the nearest half or whole dollar. Because we closed at 50, $1.50 to the upside, about 51.50, downside 48.50. You want to look and see in the option market if any of those relative prices have standout open interest. That can be indicative that the market is either looking within expectation or potentially outside of it. If it does break out, or have some momentum in one direction, you might actually get some sort of expansion of this price range. Now, Citi right now is looking at about a $2 move after earnings have been announced. And what you'll notice is things like 55 stand out pretty heavily. You have a lot of open interest on both the call and the put side. So It's obviously a bigger move than expectation, and normally you want to look at the $1.50 to $2 range. But if it goes a little bit further and faster, if you have a nice intraday uptrend, keep in mind that the option market actually said 55 might be a bit more of a gravity point or a target for the price to move towards. Wells Fargo, off to the downside. So the reaction so far has been bearish. Same process. We're just repeating a cycle here. Wells Fargo, inside of its earnings series, we closed at about 48.50. We're trading at about 46.90 at the moment. $1.50 expected move. So we've actually moved the full expected move so far. We basically tagged it. If we go much further, we'd be looking to see what sort of downside targets. Things like 45 stand out a bit. Everything else seems to be relatively normal, at least relative to closer strikes. So 45 on the put side, less on the calls. And obviously to the upside, if the reaction was more bullish, 50 was standing out a bit more. 50 would have been right in line with the expected move. So you can essentially state that most of this open interest is simply playing the expected move. But a move to 45 would be about a doubling of that expected move. So definitely want to keep that one on watch. And what you're looking for there for any significant movement is actually technical breaches, usually daily swing highs and lows being either expanded upon intraday or potentially just the volume to continue intraday in one direction. Let's see. Morgan Stanley. Wanted to bring this one and Goldman Sachs up just for clarity. So most of these are going to be banks. JP Morgan is our largest bank inside of at least the XLF. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citi. We just looked at these two. I think Bank of America is early next week. Technically, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs are considered capital market industries. They do act as banking types, but they have different revenue focuses and they offer different services for clients. So when you're digging through the earnings, think of them like a bank and think of them from the financial perspective, but also understand that the market might value certain revenue streams and changes to those revenue streams a little differently than something like a true bank. However, for earnings, Morgan Stanley, we're looking at about a $2.50 expected move. We closed at 84. We're already hitting about 85.50, so about $1.50. You'll notice where the high of this reaction is. It's already hitting the expected move bounds. We went from 84.50 to 86.80. That's pretty much exact. And this is indicative of what the option market offers. It tells you what to expect. And if it goes outside of that expectation, you're obviously looking for breaches and some of the theory behind expansion of, in this case, an option range or an expected move range. Same idea, some higher open interest at 90. Morgan Stanley does turn into an uptrend. Keep in mind, it would have to break that pre-market high. It would have to expand beyond $2.50 roughly. And of course, if it does, what you're looking at is potentially an upside of close to 90. And what that would look like on a daily is this swing high breakout, basically getting over the daily swing highs. Same thing to the downside, of course, but so far the reaction is bullish. And then last but not least, Goldman Sachs. I believe this one, I'm not sure if this one reported yet. It may be in line to report. However, same process here. These numbers have been established prior to earnings. So they're already set based on yesterday's trade. The IV and the expected movement is going to be dictated from the close. So for example, Goldman Sachs closing at about 322, another capital market stock, and pricing in about an $8.50, let's say $9 expected move. Some of that adjustment does take place as the pre-market starts to open, but overall these numbers are relatively set from yesterday. You know, the best time to do this analysis, if I'm being frank, my name is Jared, but I am frank right now. The best time to do this analysis is as soon as the market closes the day before earnings. We're doing it after the fact. It's close enough, but you want to be doing this a little bit earlier just to have those numbers established, especially if you're going to trade it. So for Goldman Sachs, we didn't really observe anything of note. Most of the open interest is just at $5 intervals, and it's pretty much, you know, static open interest numbers. There's not a big standout overall. So more or less, I would be looking at the expected move. I'd probably be looking for about a $10 move at most in either direction, and whatever, you know, bias the stock has, that becomes the opportunity for the trade. Big picture though, Goldman Sachs is looking for that weekly low to be set, and even bigger picture, the monthly higher low to possibly be set off of it. So there is some technical advantage here for Goldman Sachs. The understanding though is that these are weaker relative stocks over the past couple of months. You want to be looking at how significant the downside has been on these names. And some of them have their technical picture in line. For example, you can easily look at JP Morgan and say, this is kind of a channel. So are we getting close to channel support? Probably. It's still earnings season though. That's what's going to dictate short-term trade. And unfortunately, the bias in most of these cases is down. So that bias continues until we see bigger trend changes and obviously a little bit of stabilization after earnings. So just kind of showing like most of these stocks are still monthly bull candidates. They've just seen pullbacks off of this year's performance. You know, they've definitely sold from their relative highs, and the monthly bull is trying to figure out when will the selling stop. So all that said, you know, that's not for day trading purpose. It's more for swing trade, position trading, and obviously investing potential. If these are monthly bull candidates, you might still be looking for that monthly higher low, which can still offer 10-20% of upside if the market conditions change. So okay, last but not least, obviously some fresher news, Twitter. So we do have information about Twitter in regards to Elon Musk. He has offered to purchase the entirety of Twitter, 100% stake, for approximately $54 a share. I think the specific number is $54.20 a share. What this does is it essentially sets the valuation that Elon is willing to pay at approximately $43 billion for the company. Does that matter for trade? Somewhat. It definitely puts volatility back into this name. You'll notice here that the current top side of the reaction is exactly 54. I'll just give that penny a little bit of wiggle room. And ever since, we've been in a decline. So are there going to be some bounces today? Possibly. We're going to be certainly searching for them. It is a bullish reaction. The big picture, let's talk about what is the market anticipating. And for this, I'm going to use the expected move for the week. Twitter right now is, you know, priced in at about, I don't know, $47, $48 approximately in pre-market. So we're fading this reaction right now. Are we outside of expected move for the week? No, we aren't. If this were going to be a more violent and volatile trading day, we would like to be outside of the expected move. That's usually where volatility can pick up, and usually where the range intraday has a good chance to expand. We have a catalyst, absolutely, but the market so far is not really biting on that catalyst and keeping us elevated. So far this fade, you know, continues in the pre-market. We're certainly searching for where some relative support might be, because the reaction itself was a bit bullish. However, you know, don't get caught up in the idea that the stock has to go back up to 54. In this case, there is a price that's been set, and the market is going to dictate whether they believe that's going to go through or not, and ultimately bring the valuation back into what was essentially yesterday's close. So yesterday's close at about 46. Keep in mind, this could be a fade and a full opening range or opening gap fill back to the start point, which is the previous day close. So something to keep on watch. It'll definitely be on most of our watch lists today, just because the volatility is there. As far as bias, we definitely want to see the trend back in the favor of the bulls, or as a reversal trader, you're playing this fade and you're keeping your expectation in line. This can fade all the way back down, and we're just trying to figure out where are some good reaction points for bounces. So that's what we're looking at, and that is what's in play. Overall, there's not really too much else. PPI did come out yesterday. I won't speak on that too much. I think CPI reaction was a bit more focused in on. Market was kind of waiting for that data a bit more. I will comment, though, I did get a little bit of discussion yesterday about where is big picture the market looking. We'll use the weekly as an example. The S&P and the Qs, very similar. The S&P and the Qs are waiting for the weekly higher low to be set. Yesterday's reaction and the fact that we are holding mid-range levels. What do I mean by mid-range? I'll talk about that in a moment. We're holding them, and the weekly bull is hoping that this weekly higher low is set. What does that offer for a weekly bull? It offers the potential that this market will turn into an inverse head and shoulders. That is what the weekly bull is hoping for. On the Qs, on the SPY, it really doesn't matter. It's most markets. SPY has a bit of a slanted approach to it, still an inverse head and shoulder in concept, because the weekly bull on the SPY is trying to change the weekly trend back in their favor. So everybody is looking for this overall to turn into one of the more bullish and reversal patterns for continued upside later this year. That said, and I'll do it on the Qs just in case it isn't fully clear. Bit more of a flat neckline. So that's what the weekly bull is looking for. What can you do about this information? You can be aggressive. You can say, I believe this weekly higher low is set. You can place your risk based on the low over the past couple of weeks. What is your potential? Your potential is that the market rallies back to the neckline. Doesn't have to do it in a straight shot, but ultimately, so long as this low holds, you can be in position as a weekly bull with potential to the neckline, and ultimately a breach of the neckline, and things as simple as expanding all of this and doubling it. Basically, the measured movement from the shoulder or the measured movement from head to neckline. That would be the most optimistic targeting. If you're still a bear, is your risk to reward good in this market? Potentially. Obviously, most bearish positions have been placed in regards to resistance. So they have shorted the neckline. And what they're trying to do is say, hey, this area of the market is never going to be breached. I expect new swing lows in the future. And obviously that position has to be tested. So the weekly bull has the proving. The weekly bear is already probably engaged. Why does this level matter? For the weekly bull, the reason I believe it matters is because it's the first area of the market where we started to become bullish, i.e., it's the first breach of a weekly candle where the weekly bull has made room to change the trend. And as a reversal trader, I see this very often in markets. I see it on shorter term time frames, but the concept is similar. If the weekly bull is going to defend and have any potential for higher prices moving forward, they have to defend where they started to negate bearish activity. They have to negate, in this case, the retracement line. So if they want to set up bullish here, it makes sense conceptually. It makes sense that they may start to stage a rally from these price levels. And the objective is simple. Stop selling here, go higher, tag the neckline at some point. Doesn't have to be in a straight shot, but do it at some point. And then, of course, force every bear out of this market. That's the change. That's what most bulls are looking for. So moving into next week, we're going to look and see how this market shapes up around these price levels. It's where we've been waiting for a weekly bull to set up a defense. It's at the right reaction, the right pivot. It's at the right area of interest. Everything looks good from a technical standpoint. Now the bulls just have to prove it. So depending on the style of trader you are, you may want to look and see about considering some potentially more aggressive and anticipatory bullish exposure if you're using this week's low as essentially risk. If you don't believe it, or if you think that that is not good enough, you need more information, you're obviously looking for confirmation next week. And ideally, the best case scenario is to break the CPI data high. Whatever that price level is on Tuesday's session, break it. Because most bears, in case of new data, will react and respond to that data overall. They'll put on risk. They'll say that inflation's too high. Market is done. Market's toast. Market's going down. If the market doesn't do that, guess what? It becomes a bit more of a short covering area of the market. We'll have another downtrend retracement line that's breaking bullish, and the cycle repeats, obviously with a bit more consolidation in between. So as we wait for that to happen, just big picture, we're talking technicals as opposed to macro events here. That's what most technicians are waiting for. They're waiting to see how this sets up. Your job as a trader is to potentially anticipate this and think about the type of strategy that would best suit this type of the setup. And if you don't believe that that's going to hold, you're probably still in position bearish. You're waiting to see if that weekly higher low is going to be set. And if it is, you might consider, profit taking or even considering switching camps. So last but not least, I think overall we've covered most risk areas of the market. I am currently searching for some relative lows inside of the bond market. We'll look at that a bit more next week in regards to some ratio trading. I'm starting to look at things like junk bonds and high yield credit comparative to treasury. And I'm starting to see that point of inflection. All I'm waiting for now is some confirmation based on the ratio of performance between these products. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned for next week. We'll talk more about it. And as always, stay tuned for pre-market prep. Have a great rest of your week. Remember, the market's closed tomorrow. And as always, trade safe.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Prep. Hope everyone's having an amazing weekend. Hope you guys are doing well. Just want to make sure my audio is good because I'm hearing something
I can hear you.
funky, and I think I might have fixed that. Hey, good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Can't complain. Glad
Welcome
to be
back.
back.
Yeah,
Always great to take some time off and just kind of reset things and just give your mindset a whole break. And me and you talked about this before, how critical that is in what we do,
absolutely.
right? So
Absolutely.
but good to be back. A little rusty, just trying to get everything settled in. So um just bear with me as we do that. All right, excellent. Guys, again, I don't know much what's going on besides Twitter. And Norm, I saw your chat, and you've been talking about this for some time.
Yeah.
That it looked like it can end up the way it just did now, right? With the talks
Yeah.
about
Well, it
our
hasn't
friend,
ended. To be
right?
clear, it's still in the middle of all this drama. But the second when he dropped his board seat, I figured that's what was going on. He didn't do this. He's go big or go home, and that he decided that wasn't going to work for him the other way. So,
Agree.
yeah.
He's a very calculated man. He's obviously very smart. He doesn't do things just because, right? Although you see the craziness on Twitter,
He doesn't
he,
care about the money.
right?
Right? That's the other thing.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Thank you guys for pointing that out. See, my gappers list is not acting fun with us today or not being nice. I'm gonna exit and come back in. See if that changes it there. So let's not save that. Let's start it up again. Trade ideas, and then we'll see if that populates. Um, in the meantime, let's go straight to overall news and what's going on there, and then we'll come back and hopefully our gappers list is up and running.
Yeah, we had a ton of data drop right at 8:30, and I got to tell you, I have not heard it because I was having some technical issues. But we had initial jobless claims, continuing claims, retail sales, import price index. And then at 10 a.m. we've got University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index and 5-year expectations as well as business inventory. So it appears that the market is selling off just a tiny bit on the data that came out a few minutes ago. We'll see how much more of an impact that has as we go through the pre-market show and start the day.
Yep, absolutely. All right, looks like
Markets are
my
closed tomorrow too, so keep that in mind.
yeah should be a. Usually these days are a little bit funky, but we'll see how that turns out. Guys, here is our gappers list. Not a whole lot going on today. A couple of tickers that we know here, especially on the gap down list. DWAG, West Fargo, Baba, down a bit today, and then we'll look at that PTGX down 26. That's a nice chunk there. And of course, the talk of the day, Twitter. Wasn't Andrew? I think Andrew sent a tweet last night. Guys, you got to sign up to Andrew's account on Twitter if you haven't done so already.
For
And if you
sure.
do not have a Twitter account, just sign up just for us because it'll be a lot of fun. Trust me, you'll miss out on some pretty cool stuff. He sent a text asking where's Elon Musk, right? He's been quiet for a while. And I think Elon must have read that and decided, hey, here's what's happening, Andrew,
Yeah.
in case you missed us. Um, but yeah, so we'll see what's happening there, guys. It's definitely some fun stuff going on here
Andrew
this
over on
morning.
YouTube. I asked where the hell he is.
Yeah, yeah, he did. He asked where the hell he is. You can see it on Twitter, and I think he must have read that and said, "Hey, here I am, man. I'm working on things." Um, all right, you know what I forgot to do to link my trade ideas. We'll go through our gappers list and see what's going on there. So if you do not know how to do this and you're new to the show, as I'm doing this, I can show you. Just come over to trade ideas, hit tools, go overhead to external linking, and then this little pop is going to come up here, and all you have to do is hit add link and then just scroll your mouse over where you want that to populate. Obviously, I want it on my montage. You're going to just hit shift and then this will pop up, hit OK, and you are all set to go. Let's minimize this, get this out of the way. And what that does is you're able to, on your trade ideas, you can see here, you can click and it'll populate the charts. Pretty neat. You have to do it every morning. But again, if you're going through the scanners quite a bit, it's helpful. That 3 second thing there is going to save you a lot of time instead of typing things out. So take advantage of that. All right, let's get to it, guys. Let's look at our gap up list this morning. RAC, which I believe is Friday. Yes, Friday.
Yep.
Taking off here. Norm, what's going on? Latest and greatest.
Yeah, they had earnings this morning and some guidance. They beat. Let me see if I can get the numbers exactly. Where is it? their losings, should I say. Their revenues were more than expected, despite taking a larger than expected loss. Their guidance was, I think, what's really boosting it this morning. And the fact that it's got a 32% short float on top of some better than expected guidance is giving them the 17% pop this morning. When this one's in play, it can trade well, but a lot of times it trades thin, so I'll be careful watching it to see how it does. It's got 617,000 shares traded this morning, so it's not too bad.
Yeah,
so far.
not too bad at all. For right now, let's put RAD on the list here. So RAD again, just capping up nicely this morning, and with some not great volume, but it's got some movement. VERU, and this thing is, we must have traded this before because I got levels for this. Must have been a player back.
Yeah, this was in play right before you left, I think. I can't remember, but anyway, maybe like the day before you left or something.
Okay.
They've got an oral COVID treatment, not a vaccine, but a treatment that is shown to reduce the chance of death. So they've been in play for the last week or so on that.
Right, reduce the chance of death on what? Just death period or?
With COVID.
Oh, sorry, I missed the COVID part. I'm saying reduced chance of death. I'm like, oh, that's great, man. I'm about to sign up. But yeah, with COVID. All right, good. So got some good things going on. Sorry, man. I'm a little
death from 100%.
But yeah, this looks looking good here, guys. Very active right now. 7 million shares traded. I like the fact that this thing has been holding, guys. Right? You had the initial pop here. You had the second day sell off, and then the third day you have this initial run. This is good. It's a good sign that the catalyst is not I want to say it's not a BS catalyst, right? Where this happens and it comes right back down to 6 and 5 and nothing else takes place. This got some momentum, right? What's the float on this, by the way? 64. So it is not a low float, but I think we'll see. We'll put it up here. You still got to be very careful how you manage your risk on this one, guys. Right? It's a lower price. Well, what's a lower price? Kind of heading to 15, 16 now. Just be careful. Some good movement right now, up 11%. Definitely has got some momentum at the moment. And of course, the talk of Twitter is Twitter right now, up 6.1, 19 million shares traded. So I was hearing Jared earlier this morning in the pre-market prep, guys. If you haven't done so already, hit a thumbs up for him, preparing every morning as he does there. 54 was the buy price that Elon set out, right?
54.20, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So it's funny how we went right to that. Obviously, nobody wants to pay more than 54, right? That makes sense. Sold off a little bit this morning, only up 6.1 with some incredible volume. And again, this has been very active, as you guys have obviously seen over the last couple of days. We'll add Twitter to the list. Definitely want to be watching this morning. Looking forward to see how this is going to trade at the open, and we just got to keep an ear out for more conversations on this potential buy here from Elon. All right, let's head down to our gap down list this morning. PTGX leading the way, down 26%. Doesn't look good though. Yeah, not great. Horrible daily. You can see how choppy it is. I'm not even sure what the catalyst is. By no norm, you usually won't even look this up. I mean, it just looks bad all around. So
I don't see anything fresh on it, man. As of this
Right?
morning, maybe I'm missing it, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
There's got to be something for a 25% drop, but
I agree. Something must be out there, but either way, whatever it is, it's not looking pretty right now. And their previous trading days don't look good neither. I mean, below almost 2 million, 2.8 is the highest I see here as far as daily volume. That's going to translate to some very funky pre-market activity. But big gap down today, nevertheless. Here is ATER this morning. So these guys are down 4.6, 966. I think we've seen these guys before. Yeah, we definitely seen them before. Lower price stock. It's trying to break out of the $2, $3, $5 mark here, and it's doing a pretty good job so far. I'm not a big fan of these guys. Again, they can trade very funky. The price action sometimes not as clean. So I'm just not a big fan of this one. I'm going to skip it for now. Let's see what we have here. DWAC, it is down 4.4. Obviously, the more talks about Twitter, the more this thing takes a hit. And
they've got their own problems as well that we've pointed out in the past with the troubled launch and everything else.
Yeah, they just have not been doing well, guys. They're just continue to get crushed here now at 46. It is also not a great trading stock, so I'm not going to spend no time on this one. We talked about this quite a bit already on the show here. Heading down to West Fargo, we are down 3.8, 600,000. What's the news? It's only bank on my list this morning, so they must have something
They had
possibly.
earnings this morning.
Okay. So not looking too good there. I mean, they're down 3.8. They've been here recently, a couple of days ago. So not a huge deal just now, but might be worth taking a look at a little bit later. Maybe a possible WFC. We'll throw that on there, down 3.8. And then we have Baba. What has Baba been up to? We had some really good days with Baba and Neo. I'm not sure if that has been continuing, Norm. Have these been in
It really
play?
hadn't been on the radar in the last since you've been gone.
Okay, okay. So I took the fun with me on these Chinese stocks.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, here it hasn't really done much. Today they're down a 2.5, 330. Maybe a possible. We'll look. I'm sure we'll look at Neo and some other Chinese tickers as well. But let's put Baba here. Possible for now. Getting a bit of a drop this morning. All right, so that covers our gappers list, guys. Gap up and gap down. Norm, anything you like on your end that you're keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I'll throw three your way. Got Goldman Sachs, GS. They had earnings
Mm-hmm.
this morning. They did way better than expected. Top and bottom lines, increased volatility really helped their trading desks. And then you've got Citi C. They had earnings this morning as well. A little bit better than expected, although down a little bit year over year. And same thing for Goldman there too. So, what else? The other one was TSM, Taiwan Semi, reported earnings this morning too. Semis have been in play last couple of weeks, primarily to the downside, but there was a little break in that yesterday.
That was MU. You said the last one.
No, TSM,
Oh,
but
TSM.
um, but other semis could be in play
Yeah.
using that as a bellwether. And
I definitely like Citigroup. Goldman Sachs, not so much. We'll have to wait for the open, as you guys know.
yeah,
Um,
that's one that doesn't trade well in the pre-market for sure.
yeah, we'll have to wait to the open to see how that does. TSM, they're foreign, by there, but they had a nice
Yeah,
little run the
Taiwan
last couple
semi,
of
huh?
days. They had a nice little run the last couple of days here.
Yeah, yesterday's
Yeah.
specifically semis. If you look at AMD took off yesterday too.
Mm-hmm,
Nvidia,
mm-hmm.
some of the others. So
All right, nice. All right, guys, let's take it to the room, see what we have here. We'll start with Chris MC. Let's go ahead and look at Neo. He's throwing that one out. Neo right now at the moment, we are down 1.4. Yeah, I mean, pretty much flat for the most part. This is not big movement for them, as far as gapping up or down or the volume, but we know how explosive they can be. Maybe a possible for now. We'll come back to that one. Let's head down over to Fabio. You're giving us NVIDIA and CCL. As Nor mentioned, some of these semiconductors might be in play today. NVIDIA, AMD, MU, we'll look out for those. I usually, I mean, NVIDIA's not doing a whole lot right now. On days like this, I usually would like watch like AMD or something, right? So I'm gonna put AMD instead. Although you know what, I take that back. NVIDIA does look way better than AMD at the moment. So I'm gonna add NVIDIA. Usually CCL, I mean, I'm sorry, AMD will be the one to watch for me if they're not like heavily in play. CCL, no, I think it's pretty quiet right now. They had a big day yesterday. We'll have to see at the open if there's some momentum. But at the moment, with what we have, there's just not a whole lot going on right now, right? So we'll have to just wait a little bit on this one.
their
Um,
catalyst, CCL's catalyst, the travel sector was Delta earnings yesterday morning.
yep.
They came out and projecting profit for this quarter, and I believe things. Never mind. So that's
Mhm.
popped them. I'm curious. It came out late yesterday, and we discussed this in the pre-market show yesterday about the FAA mask mandate. Had been set to end on Monday the 18th. They just
Mhm.
extended that by another 15 days. So I don't know if
No
that'll have any
way.
impact.
Wow, that is just it is such a joke, man. It is such a joke. Getting
Yep.
on the plane, I haven't worn a mask in who knows how long, and having to wear in the airport. Our flight got delayed a couple of hours, and having to wear that
Mm,
mask the whole time on the
that's
terminal,
ridiculous.
plus the flight. My ears, and I got big ears, right? Big ears, you can't. It just doesn't help. It was just it's horrible, horrible, horrible.
Yeah.
So
And especially for something that's studied, they've had studies and stuff come out and show that the masks 99% of people are wearing don't do squat anyway.
Yeah, they don't work.
I'll tell you the other thing too. So
Yeah.
when I went to Vancouver last time, I upgraded myself, and I was in business class. They didn't tell anybody in business class to wear a mask.
Oh, nice.
Nobody wore a mask, or
Yeah.
maybe like one or two people out of the whole business class.
Yeah.
On the way back, it was full, so I didn't get upgraded. I was at the back of the bus. Man, it was like scream at you if you took it down for 2 seconds.
Yeah. Wow. It's insane. But yeah, I was coming from Florida, so Florida's a little bit loose there. So, but still, it's just painful. And guys, it doesn't work. Listen, I walked into the men's bathroom, and if I could smell all that stuff, you telling me that a virus is not going to get through the mask? It's going to get through the mask. It's just going to happen.
They're gonna try to cancel us. We better move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on from this topic because it can be sensitive to some people, and we understand that. But we need to move on. All right. All right, in the chat, guys, what do you guys have? We have Lululemon. Lululemon. It's a tough trader for me. I don't see a lot going on right now in Lululemon. Fiona, do you have any news on it? Had a good day yesterday. I see that, but man, it could be so tough to trade. And look at this, right? It happened right at the morning, right? Just kind of took off, and you could tell how you got to be a particular type of trader to trade this, because look at the volume you're getting here. It is so light. So although you're running here, yes, this looks nice now, but you look down here, man. This is that's a tough one to trade. All right, so let's see here. Let's get on down. What else do we have? I'm sorry, Fiona. You were talking about about their mask they make. Okay, gotcha. I thought you were talking about the ticker overall. All right, guys. Any other tickers that we like this morning on our chat? In the meantime, I'll look on our Twitter page and see what we have here. Tesla. Let's look at Tesla today. Tesla this morning. Oh, Tesla is active, guys. Down 2.2, 787,000. Yeah, this is very active here. Let's go ahead and add Tesla today. I'm not sure what the news is, but yeah, Tesla is on the move this morning. That's looking nice. All right. I think we're pretty
show
good,
you
right?
Bloomberg headline this morning: Tesla shares slip as investors weigh prospect of distracted Musk.
Oh, that is so funny. How does Bloomberg put out something like that? You think this guy can get distracted by this? He has his hands in so many things. He's having a little fun with this. All right, so Twitter, we have Twitter on deck. Tesla is good. And what else we have? Yeah, Veru. We have that one. Yeah, Veru. Yeah, definitely in play, guys. 8.2 million. Had a nice couple of days here. We'll see how this opens up. Right now, the pre-market is looking a little shady. You can see here these wicks. I don't like the way that's forming there. You did have a breakout, and then you got the slam down here. So this is not great pre-market trading. I wouldn't be touching this in the pre-market if it was me trading here. Just the way this thing is forming, it is not clean. This is too much shadiness happening here with the way this is forming. So wait for the market open, wait for there to be more volume, more volatility, and let's see how this thing is gonna play. It's gonna be strong or sell off. We do have shares for short on it, so we'll see how that goes. Gustavo's giving us Oxy. Let's take a look at Oxy this morning. They are no. I don't think they're really in play. We might have to wait for the market open to see which direction this stock gets pulled in. And we'll look at Apple last, and then we'll head over to
Twitter's
community.
taking off.
I'm sorry?
Twitter taking off.
Oh, let's go.
There was somebody big selling at 49. It was just holding the price there. You can see all morning it's been banging its head against it.
Yeah.
I loaded up a little bit at 48.95, and it just shot through that. Let's see if it can hold.
Very nice. Yeah, this is going to be fun today. Well, not today. It's going to be fun for several weeks, I think. I think Twitter's going to be really good, especially depending how things are going to turn out here. I mean, guys, we went from 38 something, popped up on just, Musk buying some shares. You see the action here. And now we're hitting 54 today. Not the highest we hit, or maybe right to it. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how things go here. All right. Perfect, guys. Let's go to community events and announcements. No.
You just go to the webinar page, brother.
Yeah, because I forgot to upload that. So we'll go over to our BBT page, and I'll bring this up for you guys can see.
And I'll get started as you. I'll just talk Yeah. All right, guys. So don't forget, every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, got the onboarding class that Carlos does. It got a little messed up this week, but it'll be back in place next week. And then technology immediately following that, 8 p.m. That is next Monday is going to be Kyle with Dash Trader Pro Q&A, and then the following week is my man Carlos talking about scanners and how to scanners and news alerts to find opportunities for trading. Then next Tuesday webinar is Volume Price Analysis 101 with Thor, 8 p.m. Eastern, and the following week, 5 p.m. special time. Eamon's going to be talking about his parabolic reversal strategy. Wednesday Psychology, next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, is Susan going to be talking about Thinking in Bets. That is the book by Annie Duke, poker player. I believe she trades as well, but just talking about the psychology of thinking in probabilities. The following week will be Mike talking about addressing trading challenges and FOMO, everybody's favorite topic, the FOMO. All right, mentorship on Thursdays, you've got 11, 4, and 8. And then crypto on Friday. Just a reminder, markets are closed tomorrow, so no crypto tomorrow. No chat room tomorrow, sorry. The other two things, don't forget about stocktradingsimulator.com. That's our free web-based trading simulator we've created. You can go sign up for it. You'll get a couple of homework assignments a week. And yeah, check that out. And if you're watching on YouTube, haven't been in the room, you'd like to give it a shot, use the promo code PREMARKET24 when you sign up for the intro membership. That's the test drive button. Click it, use PREMARKET24. It's 1 week in the room at a discounted price to try it out. And then also we have the spring promotion still going on, half off an annual elite membership. You get access to all the webinars I was just describing.
All right, Norm, thank you very much for taking us through that. All right, guys, let's set some levels here, starting with RAC this morning, which is moving pretty nice in the pre-market, up 12.8. We got some good volume on that. So, yeah, we'll keep that on there. VREU, you know what? I don't really like this pre-market activity, guys, that I'm seeing here. We really will have to wait for this for the market open to see how it's going to be. I have a feeling we might get some choppiness on here, especially this drop. I don't like, this is such a algo like move here. Look at the pop, and then you just, no continuation. Look how quick you get this drop here. And you're back at this 1339, 1539. I don't like that. So I'm gonna remove it from my main list. That has to get better. That has to get better at the market open. Twitter, of course, in play. We'll keep that on there. I like Citigroup this morning, starting out very well. And for a banking stock, the way this is trading in the pre-market, guys, this is looking pretty good. So I definitely like that here. TSM, we'll have to wait for the market open. I know they had a nice day yesterday. Another pop up here for a possible continuation. I'll keep them on here for now. Let's see if we can get some good movement. Typically, this stock is obviously foreign ticker. They don't trade very well at times, but we've seen a couple of days where they've done okay. And we actually, not me personally, but the community has taken advantage of some good moves. So let's see. Maybe today could be one of those days. I like the daily as well. You're bouncing off this 98 a couple of times here, so that's good. Showing a level clear support here on the daily. Can we get a continuation? Maybe to 110? We'll see. That looks good today as far as the daily goes. And Tesla, obviously, in play with some just Twitter Elon madness here. So definitely looking good as well. All right, I think we're good there. Let's take a look at our secondary list. Maybe we have something here that we can move up. Goldman Sachs really got to wait for the market open. They have catalyst today. West Fargo dropping here. We'll see where that goes. Baba, it's okay pre-market, but these two, Baba and Neo, we know can get going very, very quickly. So we'll keep a close eye on those. And we also have the scanners. I love, as I mentioned before, that turbo breakup and that turbo breakdown are great scanners. And in 2 weeks, as Norm mentioned, we'll be talking about the outdoor webinar on how to find opportunities there. And a VRU, we moved down because it's pre-market, guys. It's just not looking attractive at all. All right, so nothing to move up. We'll continue with our levels here, starting with RAC, high of the pre-market. Let's see if I remember how to do this here. All right, let's go. High of the pre-market, 882. So we'll do that there. And then towards the bottom, guys, got a nice support down here couple of days, about three at least, one, two, and three, showing a little bounce on this 819 before we had the big drop, obviously towards the bottom. And then down here in this area, you do have your highs and lows from the last two trading days, previous day close. Just again, ton of support happening here. Don't need to add anything else. So you're set there above the high of the pre-market. In case we want to go long this morning, we are going to be looking right here. Very, very clear level, guys. At 945. 945. Just look at the action you're getting there. Every time we get there, we either have some kind of pause. Some days are bouncing, being rejected off of that. You could clearly see the resistance level there at 945. And I don't think RAC can run this much, but the next level you're looking at is around $10. 1014 is where I'm going to slam a level at. I don't think it can run that high today. It's got to be really, really strong to do that. Here's Twitter. So Twitter, high of the pre-market, looking at 53.99, high of the pre-market today. And towards the bottom, guys, you got a couple of levels here that we can add. I'm looking at this daily. We have one right here. 51.50 is a good one. We got one at 52.78. I wouldn't put too much weight on this, although you see the pre-market is, is respecting these levels because obviously we just gapped up here a couple of days ago. Do not remember when was the last time we were in this range between 53 and 45. Let's just take a look back because we do have some time this morning. Actually, not so long ago, December. In December, you can see some action in here, right? Let's zoom into this. And you can see here 53, 54. You have a lot of days consolidating there. Above that, we do have 55.12. And with Twitter and what's going on, we actually can look ahead and see any levels above here. We have another one at 59. I mean, that's a stretch when you know what the buyout price is going to be. But man, this is almost becoming like a meme stock at this point. So we'll see. And towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows from the last two trading days. Where the price action is sitting at actually right below it. 48.61. Got a couple of days slamming against that as well. So I'm going to mark that there too. So again, we got a lot of levels on here, but the reason is this thing is moving through a lot of price levels, right? 45 all the way to 53. You are going to have a lot of levels in here. So if you look at between the high and the low this morning, we have about three levels in here off the daily. But again, you have to have that with the way this thing has been trading. So towards the bottom, let's take a look at Citigroup. Typically not a great pre-market activity, although today this is a good pre-market action for them. As I mentioned before, 52.15 is looking good there. I don't like the fact that it's selling off back down to the previous day close. I don't want it to go back into this congested area we're seeing here. The move would have been to just continue above 52.15. That's what I would have liked on Citigroup. So I might end up dropping this one down, and we'll see what the moderators have. Maybe they have something better I can add on here, but that part there, it's not great right now. Hopefully that can change and we can get something better. Towards the bottom, and this is what I'm talking about, right? If you look at the daily right now, you see the highs and lows of the last two trading days, previous day close. It gets just all bunched up here. I was looking for a breakout. So I don't think there's any other levels you need to add right now. If we start getting back to this 52.15, maybe we have some levels up here that will be interesting. But for the most part, we'll just keep that the way it is. TSM, a good day yesterday, possible continuation today. Pre-market's not going to look great on these foreign stocks, so don't put too much weight on the pre-market at the moment. 104.44, decent level there. And also another thing, the levels on these stocks that are foreign are not great because the dailies just, again, it's just they don't trade very clean. So that daily levels, they don't look too exciting or too attractive. A 108 4 is a good one here, and then another one here you have a 109.59. So a couple towards the top, towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last two trading days. You're pretty much set there on TSM. Here's Tesla, guys, getting some good movement. Look at the range. You got a little range here between 975 and 1025, right? So big day Friday, guys, going the length of that range actually 975 to 1025, and then kind of selling off a little bit now on some Twitter mania there. So we'll see if that's how that's gonna hold. 996.54, low of the pre-market there. And I think you're pretty much set. Again, we got this range we would love to break out of, but even playing within this range, there's still going to be some good opportunities because the range is from 975 to 1025. That's a big range. So you can still find some opportunities even if we trade within this here, if we're going to be trading the length of this stuff. So that's looking good there. Um, all right, we have our moderators are coming up with their list. I see Jared, Mike, and Thor got their list ready. Pretty much a lot of the stuff we have on deck as well. Trying to see if they have something that we do not, but no, everything they have on their list so far we have here. We have a couple of minutes, guys. We can get into some questions. You can throw some stuff back at me if you do have some tickets you want me to look at. I see Joshua Cruz over in YouTube giving us American Airlines. We'll take a look there. Yeah, I think the travel stuff is pretty quiet right now. Big day for them. Gap up there, and you can see they went from 18 up to 19. But I don't think they're really in play this morning. Maybe we have to wait for the market open. I do have which one did we look at? We looked at CCL, I believe, and Delta, right? Delta had earnings last night or today?
No, yesterday morning.
Okay, so we'll have to see. So maybe that was all sympathy play with Delta, as you mentioned, Norm, I think, and we'll have to see how they play out today. But they're not looking great this morning, so we'll have to wait.
AAL was actually the better trader out of all the airlines.
Yeah?
And they weren't the one with the catalyst, but it was a sympathy move. And their high short float caused them to move a little bit better.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll put American Airlines as a possible and just kind of take a look to see how that trades this morning. But for the most part, at the moment, I mean, they're pretty much dead right now. We'll have to wait for the market open. All right, guys, anything else?
Somebody's reminding us that today is Thursday.
Yes, it is Thursday.
I don't know what
Friday.
That means. Did you did you call it Friday?
I might have.
Yeah, it's like Friday. It's the last day of the week, trading wise.
Yeah. For the past show, you clear. I recall in the past shows you mentioned how to clear
fake Friday. Yeah.
What is this? Clear my old watches and dash. Do you recall? How to clear this? Okay, you just click on any cell that does not have a ticker, and I'm not gonna do it, but Control A and then Control X, and that will clear this out without deleting your rows, right? So you can do that. So Control A, Control X, but you got to click off on a cell that doesn't have anything, and that will do that for you. Carlos, any tips for identifying good 5-minute opening range breakup on the pre-market? I got to do an updated webinar, but I have a great webinar in the education center on that. I don't think we have any YouTube videos. If you're on YouTube, we'll have to maybe do a shorter version for YouTube. We'll work something out there. But there's I got some good examples and on how to find them. But again, this market, guys, 5-minute opening range breakup is one of those strategies that has a period where it works very well, and then has other periods where it's just like, by the time if you wait 5 minutes, the move is over. And this market, the volatility has been tough for the 5-minute opening range. I gotta tell you. So breakouts have been a lot more favorable in the way this market is trading. You wait 5 minutes and sometimes it's just gone, right? So, but not something we can answer in just a couple of minutes. We need a lot more time for that one. Yes, market is closed tomorrow. Any banking segments, index stocks you watched today? No, I have Citigroup, right? We mentioned Citigroup here, and we have West Fargo because it's selling down here, which actually West Fargo is starting to get interesting, man. We're losing some levels here on the daily, so that could be fun. But I'm not watching the sector overall on banking. Just these two for now.
Asking Gemini Horse is asking DAS Trader, is there another way to have a stop loss other than limit orders during pre-market? No, you can't have market orders during the pre-market. That's not a DAS thing. That's an everywhere thing.
Yeah. Even with Thinkorswim, you can do that. You gotta have a limit order.
And there are no stops in pre-market. So anywhere, once again.
Yep.
Pre-market's too volatile for that because you could have, think about the tickers that are very thinly traded, have barely any shares going through them. Sometimes you can pull up their level 2 in the pre-market and like literally there's no orders on one side, or there's a few orders on the others on one side, and you can have like the bid be a penny and the ask be $100,000. So things are just too thin and it's too dangerous. You'd get closed out of positions at massive losses, potentially, for absolutely no reason, and then the ticker would open up during normal hours exactly where it closed the day before. So that's why they're not there.
Yeah. And this is why when we trade, if we do trade, when we do trade pre-market, it's got to look like Twitter, right? Very, very active.
A lot of well, it doesn't have to have 24 million shares traded, but it has to be active. It has to have a full level 2, full order book.
Yep. So Andrew adding in chat, you cannot remove liquidity or add liquidity when it comes to the pre-market, right? So that's the deal there. All right, guys, any more questions? Anything we can answer before we get to our moderators lineup? Over on YouTube, if you haven't done so, since we have a quick break here, hit that thumbs up. We're sitting at 130, which I appreciate very much. If we could get to 250 on this Thirsty Thursday, as somebody called it, that would be greatly appreciated.
I like that. It will be later.
Yeah, it will be, absolutely. It's been every day for me for the last couple of days, so nothing's changing today.
Vacay's all right.
At least into the weekend.
Drinking on vacation doesn't make you an alcoholic.
I agree. It reminds me of the time when COVID really hit. If you remember, you and I were just like,
oh my God,
we were on a tear. And I forgot what it was. I think we went live on one of the pre-market shows. I forgot.
You put our audio on before we were ready to start, when you and I were talking. It was on YouTube, talking about, I want to invest in rehab facilities for when COVID's over. That was a classic. Greatness.
Oh, yes. Becky coming up on the Gappers list, guys, here. Just popped up. I'm not a big fan.
Becky.
And it doesn't look good neither yet. So nothing to see here at the moment. Is there algo trading going on in AMD? Oh, I am sure. I'm sure there's some algo trading, but I don't think it's a stock that it's not one of these stocks that can be heavily manipulated by algos. I think it has a lot of movement, right? I think there's a lot of retail traders in this too, so it's hard to tell. But I'm sure there's algo trading in everything. I think it should determine whether the algo are in control of the price 100%, right? Like you clearly see some stocks in the market open that you could tell the algo is doing its thing because it just looks like this, right? AMD, it's just look at the movement, look at the daily, right? It's just so much going on here, So, what do you guys think about TSM? We have TSM on the list here. I mean, they're looking good today, guys. They're looking really good. Normally, we will scrap this one quickly, but today they're looking good. They had a good day yesterday. They're heading back to this is what we want to see, right? Them heading back to the pre-market there and continuing to test that there. That's going to be probably a good breakout level if we stay below that for the market open. So we'll see, but it's looking good today. Yeah, I agree. It's AMD is a stock that people love, like Peter.
Peter got it tattooed on his lower back.
Yeah, lower back. All right, looking at our moderators lineup, guys, let's go over there, see what we got going on. We got a couple of very similar tickers. I'm gonna go ahead and resize this and bring this over so it looks good for you guys. Let's go over here and we'll do this. A little slower than usual, but we'll get there. Let's see here. Okay. All right, we'll bring this into view. And here we have it. Here, moderators lineup. Let's just do this. You guys can still see the watch list. All right, who do we have? Let's start with Jared. Jared is looking at Twitter. Rite Aid, I believe that's Rite Aid. Yeah, RAD, WFC. Secondary list, Citigroup, Bank, BABA, and also VERU, which again, I don't like the pre-market. Be careful with that, guys. Wait for the market open because there's some nastiness going on there. Mike B is looking at Twitter, WFC. Thor looking at WFC, Twitter, RAD, and the overall market. Tiffany, WFC, Tesla, and Twitter. Dima, Twitter, VERU, West Fargo, and Apple. Susan looking at Tesla and Twitter today. No, one IPO for today, YLYT, and no SPACs this morning. Megan's looking at Twitter, Pins, and Facebook, so staying with the social media stuff there. Peter's looking at AMD, Twitter, West Fargo, secondary list, Apple, Baba, and JD. Megan is adding AMD as well to her list. And Susan adding J&J and Facebook. Let's look at those two actually. So Susan making an add adjustment there. J&J, tough stock to trade, by the way. I see you're looking at, Susan. The daily looks nice for a possible breakout. Nothing going on right now, so you'll have to wait for the market open, see what we can get going there. And what is Facebook up to? Norm, did you ever get in on Facebook on a bounce there for long term or no? I know
No,
you was looking at
no, I
potentially.
would never invest it. I
Yeah,
can't stand Facebook, so I
yeah.
not my kind of
hmm
deal.
Pulled back a bit here in the last couple of days, and not much going on at the
Gives
moment,
me the
but
willies.
gives you the blues, yes. I mean, this stock, the future is not looking great. That's for sure. I mean, um, we'll have to
You
see.
don't
We'll
think the
have to see.
future's in the metaverse? People are furious. Have you heard the latest on this? Like, you were traveling,
No,
so I don't know if you know.
no.
So in the metaverse, they want to charge NFT creators and sellers essentially 50% commission for selling NFTs in their metaverse platform.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not
What
happy.
what a
People don't like Apple's 30%.
yeah, yeah.
50% seems like
That
seems a little
is
rough.
yeah, that is insane. Well, if you're selling stuff for, 15, 20 million,
Yeah, exactly.
that's worth nothing. I guess it's not too bad, you know. So we'll have to see. This NFTs, fungus is what I call them.
Fungus.
Guys, we are all set here. Thank you so much for joining us over in the YouTube channel. We appreciate it very much as we are continuing our celebration here, man. 60K. So we appreciate everyone that has subscribed, that tunes in every morning.
Absolutely.
Really, really appreciate you guys. We're sitting at 172, but we have 405. So either we're doing a pretty bad job or people are falling asleep. I don't know. But if you could help us get that thumbs up, we really appreciate it. Have an amazing weekend, guys. It is Thursday, not Friday. We're off tomorrow. Well, the market is closed tomorrow. Um, Usually these type of days act like Friday, so volatility could leave very soon, very early on. So just be mindful of that. Don't be the guy, or the girl at 3:05 trying to get a move when it's just not there, when the volume is not there, because you're trying to make your day. You're down 300. You're trying to go green, and you end up doing just more damage to your account. So don't do that. Stick to your stops. Be disciplined. You got a 3-day weekend to relax, forget about the market for a little bit, come back fresh on Monday. I'm going to be taking it very easy, my first day back. And you have a 3-day weekend to do that, to come back Monday and just refresh. So let's not mess it up by doing some stupid things that we know traders can do. Let's be focused. Let's be disciplined. And once you turn off this machine and you're done trading, red or green, you're chilling, you're good, you're feeling good about yourself because you follow your rules and you go enjoy a nice long weekend. Norm, you have any plans for this week?
No.
Same here. Nothing planned, but
Just chill.
just to chill. Absolutely.
Tennis with the
Guys,
kid. That's about it.
nice. That's always the best. Um, Guys, trade safe. See you guys on Monday. Have an amazing weekend. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.